What's up, y'all? It's been way too long since I came on here. I'm supposed to be doing this shit every day, and I'm slacking. But listen, there's a lot going on. You know, Iran is. We're going to World War III. They're talking about. I don't think it's going to really turn into much. I think we're at the point where the casualties are going to become less and less in times of war. But then, out of war, people are going to die more, just like regularly because of health and random 9/11s and stuff like that. And man, I'm already in the first minute and I'm saying all the wrong words. But if you think, so Dubai got hit, that's crazy because Dubai is known for being super safe and rather neutral. And now they're saying that they got hit by Iran and Iran. And if you think Iran bombed Dubai, you've been living under Iraq. Because Iran is in a war with one country and they're going to bomb another different country that they're friends with. That doesn't make sense. I think if you're paying attention, we all know who bombed Dubai. And, you know, we're all, if you're watching this, we're all, people like us, people that think like us are upset that these wars continue to be fought for foreign nations when they're not in America's best interest. And then you have the middle America, or I don't know who these people are, man, but I see them comment on Facebook. I forget because I'm so caught up in my own echo chamber, which, by the way, is a good thing. Being in an echo chamber is good. If you're in a room of people and you guys all agree, that's a good thing. The people that say you need diverse opinions and people to disagree with you and arguing makes you stronger, that's just a stupid argument. And I'm not going to argue with you because it's not good to have to argue when you're trying to build a civilization that is based on commonality and human decency and agreement and coexisting. But these people are saying things like the Iranians are out in the street protesting or celebrating. They're celebrating what their leader getting killed. And it's like, okay, you could kill any world leader and any population would celebrate. Nobody likes their leaders. Also, at least half of people are going to be happy about anything. You're going to be able to find a demographic that's happy about anything happening. And so a lot of people are like on Trump's side, I guess. I don't know. I was under the impression that MAGA was no longer really a thing. I live in Texas. Everyone was big on Trump. I wanted Trump to win. You can't get mad at me, though, because I didn't vote for him, which is the perfect place to be in because I get to see liberals get upset, but I can also be like, well, it wasn't my fault. I didn't vote for him. Even though the whole liberal versus conservative thing is not even real anymore. Like Democrat versus Republican, it's just not, that's not what's happening here. It's not Democrat versus Republican. They're two wings, but they got the same beak, if you know what I mean. You know, and a lot of the liberals or Democrats or whatever are trying to pin the whole Epstein file stuff on Trump and be like, this is Trump and MAGA and Republicans and it's their fault. And that's the wrong argument to be having. It's not Democrat versus Republican. And also, if you don't want to play that game, because the truth of if you want to play that game is, yeah, Trump was all over the Epstein files, but that was when he was a Democrat. And if you look at all the names in the Epstein files, 60% of them were Democrats or are Democrats. So if you want to start pointing fingers at political parties aligning with the Epstein files, it's mostly on the Democrats. And I'm not trying to point the finger. I'm not blaming Democrats. I'm just saying statistically, numerically, mathematically, it was mostly them. But what my point is, it's both of them. They're all in cahoots. Like some guy was like, oh, if you don't you think if Trump was trafficking that Hillary would have locked him up when he had the chance? And it's like, no, dude, because they're friends. They're all friends at the top. They don't want to actually put each other in prison. They just want to play this game. It's just another version of Hollywood. It's just an uglier Hollywood. It's all for entertainment. I mean, it's for control, but there needs to be theatrics in place to garner and maintain the control. I'm going to take a bit of a leap here. So there's always been the top, the 1%, the elites, the celebrities, the kings, whatever we have emperors, pharaohs, whatever you want to call them. The oldest upper echelon we can trace back would probably be ancient Egypt. It was a luxurious, rich, powerful entity that, I mean, they built the pyramids. They built these massive structures. They had solid gold, everything. And if you've looked into the pyramids, the official story is not true. There were not tombs. No mummies were ever found in the tombs, in the pyramids. The pyramids were basically giant batteries or power generators. And if you read a little more into the ancient scripts, there is sufficient evidence that they were using the pyramids to transfer consciousness. And this was part of the mummification process because these leaders wanted to rule immortally by transferring their consciousness into a younger version, a younger body with the same bloodline. And this ties into the 13 bloodlines that were in the Epstein files also, but we've known about them before, like, Rockefeller, Rothschilds, Medici family. I don't remember them all, but they're, the classic names that have been behind everything for thousands of years. So these all stem from Europe. And before that, like, what do you think happened to the pharaohs? What do you think happened to ancient Egypt? These massive rulers and kings, and they just kind of disappeared. No, they blended into other societies, one of which was Rome. All roads lead to Rome. There are more ancient Egyptian obelisks in Rome than there are in ancient Egypt. So they have just been continuing this pattern of passing down their consciousness, potentially, into other bodies. And I think that this ties into the human trafficking and the human sacrifice. Because another thing, rather unsettling, there has never been a civilization of humans that have not engaged in human child sacrifice. Aztecs, Incans, all over Asia, you name it. Every civilization ever has sacrificed humans. Now, I was thinking about this earlier about how would abortion be considered a human sacrifice? I was like, well, no. I mean, yes, you are killing a baby, but having the kid would really be the sacrifice. So I don't know. It really depends on your personal, what you consider a sacrifice. Because if you look up, it's funny. When I found the Epstein files, first thing I searched was sacrifice. And the first quote was, if you want to be successful in life, you must make sacrifices. And I was like, whoa, that hits different coming out of the Epstein files. So basically, I mean, any successful person would tell you that it's all about making sacrifice. You want to win in life, cut out sugar and alcohol and give video games or whatever. So basically, by not having ice cream, you're microdosing child sacrifice, I guess. Because it is sacrifice on a small scale. And, I have often pondered if God indeed loves murder because you're sending a soul back to him and he rewards those who kill, because some of the most powerful people and the biggest murderers are the most powerful people, the people behind the armies and stuff. But then I thought more and I was like, well, I know a lot of Marines that have killed a lot of people and they're not really doing that great. I mean, you got a lot of homeless vets, but, my friends, they're doing fine. They're doing okay, but they're not like millionaires, multimillionaires and stuff. But I guess, I don't know. I mean, they're all doing pretty well. They're all just kind of crazy, I guess. So, okay, I'll stand behind it, actually. Yeah, murdering can if you don't get arrested, it can improve your life, maybe. And because a lot of people don't even realize this, but people like Ted Bundy, the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, or the same guy, the Menendez brothers, a lot of these, the Night Stalker, That's Richard Ramirez. A lot of these serial killers were actually performing black magic rituals, trying to use these murders for power. And nobody ever talks about that. And that I find that very interesting. And you have I mean, it's at the point where, you keep hearing this, like, we just got to put these people in prison, put the pedophiles in the wood chipper. But it's like, dude, there are not enough wood chippers. It's, people want to say things like, don't normalize blank or whatever. Don't normalize child sacrifice would be a valid thing. You hear that and you're like, yeah, I would agree with that. But if you look at the definition of normal, child sacrifice is normal to humans. And I'm not happy about that. I'm not making an argument for that. I'm just saying, if you look at human history, child sacrifice has been a part of it the whole time. And so the way celebrities and politicians are groomed into power, they're essentially birthed into it. Nepotism is the oldest form of leadership. The son of the leader becomes the next leader. That's always how it's been. And even if you're a farmer, you're going to raise your kids to be farmers as well. You just follow patterns or habitual. And somewhere along the lines, maybe since the beginning, the sexual abuse was part of the grooming. And so I think Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, Prince Andrew, a lot of these people, I think that they were abused as children and that they were taught to carry that on. Because humanity's like a pyramid scheme. Everything, it just gets passed down, and then you teach the next person how to do it. And that's why you don't have all these victims coming forward about all these people that were abused in the Epstein files, is because now they're working. Now they're big celebrities. The victims ended up benefiting from it. I'm not sure if they would think it was worth it or not, but I think I'm trying to think of examples here because I don't know for sure. I mean, we know Justin Bieber was diddled, and Zoran Mamdani, he was a baby with Epstein. He just came out of nowhere, right? And people like Erica Kirk and J.D. Vance, like all these people, I think they all started out as satanic ritual abuse victims, and then they got brought into committing them themselves, and it creates this kind of loyalty and bond, knowing that they have this terrible secret they all share together, so that no one will leak anything because they're implicated in it. And it works. It works because no one's coming forward. I mean, Epstein had an estimated 1,200 victims. If you think about it, a rich guy who just wants to bang chicks all the time, you can get your body count way up there. And out of 1,200 potential victims, at least, I think only 6 came forward. And they were all suicided. But basically, I think what's happening right now is the same thing that's been happening since ancient Egypt, just in a different suit and tie and in a different secret island. And, also the Epstein Island, Little St. James, is in the same area where Columbus landed, where there had been a human trafficking route for the last 400 years ago. They were trafficking slaves through there, and slaves were often children. Larry David's grandpa was a slave owner. He owned, 40% of Jews were slave owners, compared to only like 2 or like 0.2% of white Anglo-Saxon Christians. So there's another. Allegedly, that's a conspiracy. There's no proof. Don't take me down, YouTube. And they were two girls. One of them was 17 and one was 13. What do you think he was doing with those? So like slavery, child sex slave, it's like, it's kind of one and the same. And so this is really like, none of this is new. This is all just coming to light because people are starting to realize. And then, half of us, I mean, the ones that are, the people like us that are awake and aware and realizing what's going on are like, well, why isn't anyone doing anything about this? And it's because the rest of the people, they don't even know. It's so crazy to them that they will refuse to believe it. I was talking to my friend earlier. She's like a fucking very intelligent medical professional, and she spends her entire life working her ass off. So they build you this machine of education that funnels into industry where you spend your whole life learning the state curriculum to work for corporations, so you have no time to find out about this shit. But I do, because I'm unemployed and I'm a truth seeker and I'm curious. And sometimes I get lit and I do some Googling and I talk to ChatGPT and I try to manipulate it and gaslight it, and it gets to get as close to the truth as possible. So when I get in an argument with people about this, they come at me with reasonable rebuttals. And every time I'm able to stump them because I have more information, because I have no life. I don't want to go out and look for parking. So I just go out and I just stay home and just fucking Google shit. So, when people say like, hey, if you're researching these conspiracy theories, you need to like go outside and touch grass. I get you. Okay. I get you. It doesn't do me any good to dwell in conspiracy theories until I come on here and live stream it. And then a handful of you guys enjoy it. And then that's cool. So I should do it, but maybe you guys shouldn't. But then if you don't, then why would you listen to me? I don't know. Basically, I think, Epstein was talking in the emails about things like transferring consciousness, things like a lot of genetic modification, hybrid stuff, creating superhumans, injecting his bloodline into, impregnating all these women so he could further his bloodline and seed humanity with his genetics, which is weird because he's Jewish and he probably has allergies and bowel issues, and he got his prostate removed. So I don't know why you'd want to carry those genes in. Or maybe he was going to edit those specifically out, but then keep the rest. I don't know. But, yeah, man, there's just bombs going on all the time over there. And if you're in the military, dude, honestly, like, you should quit. You should quit the military. You should not join the military. Unless you're just like a young kid and you're like, I have nothing to do with my life and I'm angry because I'm broke and I have nothing going for me and I just want to go overseas and just light some motherfuckers up. Fair enough. Better do it over here than over here. So, but you have to be aware, if you are in the military at this point, you are not fighting for our country anymore. You're fighting for a foreign nation. And you're going to have to answer to God for that. You're going to have to answer to your fellow countrymen. And I've always been a supporter of the military and the troops. I have a bunch of friends that are Marines that I respect, and they're great people. And a lot of them didn't really care about America. They just wanted to go light some people up. But just all the information that's come out. Osama bin Laden was innocent. He didn't do that. There's so much proof of that. He said that he didn't do it. If you're going to plan out a massive terrorist attack, don't you think you'd want to take credit? Don't you think you'd want to be like, yeah, that was me? It's like whenever any terrorist thing happens, ISIS was always the first to be like, that was us. That was us. Anything someone stole your bike, that was ISIS. We're running shit. I mean, ISIS is funded by them too, by the way. It's just, sometimes people comment on my videos and like, oh, you're just obsessed with them. It's like, no, they're the ones doing shit. It's like, if you were fucking, my friend Travis always poked me in the eye and I was like, fucking Travis is always poking me in the eye. And then you're like, you're obsessed with this Travis guy. It's like, no, he's the one fucking poking me. He's the one doing the shit. I don't know if anyone's watching this. I can't see viewers or comments because I'm doing this from my phone. I was about to sleep, but I'm all amped up. Check out Pablo. Pablo, look. Ooh, internet. Pablo, internet. Great guy. Yeah, man. And I think anyone falling for the anti-Islam propaganda is you're falling for it. If you're hating Muslims, like, I mean, yeah, like, fuck them for hating dogs and assaulting people for bringing pork near them and stuff like that. But that's, I mean, a lot of that is not being a Muslim. That's just being an asshole. It's the same way as like racism isn't bad. It's kind of a good thing, actually, if you're just like aware of like who's who and what they're capable of, just to have it in the back of your head. Like if you walk up to someone with different skin than you and you're like, you're gross because your skin's different, that's not being racist. That's being a fucking asshole. You can have your racism and you don't have to be rude and disrespectful or violent, or you don't have to do anything to harm anyone. That's not racism. That is harassment. That's assault. That's being an asshole. It's being a bad person. It's a lot of things, but and sure, it is often rooted in racism, but I guarantee you anyone that would say some shit like that is a fucking asshole to everyone. And it's not just reserved for certain races, although they might get it more. But I don't know. I'm gonna upload a dating thing. I want to talk about that next time. I've been hammering this conspiracy stuff. I'm gonna see if you guys want to hear about my tactics, because I'm a genius and I can help you all. I'm gonna go because I don't want to pause any longer. See you guys.